pending. So just explain how we thought about this. Sometimes you'll have to register a new speaker, someone that is not a speaker anywhere. It's the first time he's a speaker for this event. He's never a speaker in other events of POW. So you need to create the speaker's form, put a picture, a resume, and that's usually something you'll get from the speaker himself or herself, included in your presentation. And once you fill in all the form, then your speaker becomes active. Another possibility is that the speaker already exists because he's already participating to another event. And if that speaker already exists, already has a form, you'll be able to select, just file his name, include his name, and you'll be able to include, just basically transfer his presentation, his form, to your event. So you'll have host speakers and guest speakers. Now, these needs to be done. Now, let's go back now and I'll show you how to create an event. So you go to the event section, and there you can add an event. So you click on add an event, and here you'll have a lot of different things to include. Of course, the date of the event, the deadline to register, the starting time, the end time, the title of the event, what is the topic? Is it a conference? Is it an academic event as opposed to a social event? Will it be online? Will it be hybrid? All these categories that you see with an asterisk needs to be filled in for your event to be complete. It's pretty straightforward, as once you have all these information, it takes less than 10 minutes to register your event. You have the event presentation, and there, as you can see below, you have a list of all the host speakers or guest speakers that you will have created. So again, if you don't have any speakers, once you fill in this form, it's not a problem. You won't see anything there. Now, if you've already registered or created speakers account, you'll have the possibility to select the speakers. So since you have two events, it may not always be the same speakers, of course. So you just go on the speakers list that you can see if you go down the presentation, and there you can just select the ones that you'll use for this event, and then include them. Now, there's an important point here is the registration mode. The way we thought about this, about creating events and having a platform allowing for the creation of events, is that you don't need to have your external platform. Everything is centralized with the POW website, which means you don't need to go on Helloasso or any other external, which always may create some difficulties. Why do we encourage everyone to use the POW website? But first of all, it's already there, so it's very easy for you to organize your event through the platform. But more importantly, as we've mentioned in the introduction, all the visitors will need to register to the POW website to attend POW events which are organized by the platform. If you start organizing events through external platforms and then through the POW website, you'll create several types of messages that the visitors will receive, which can be confusing. Here again, the idea is to centralize everything. The opening cocktail, you'll have to register through the platform, so you'll need a visitor account. We think it's better and more efficient for everyone to be able to organize their event through the same platform. Now, once you're done, if you created your events, you finalize your speakers, and again, just a point I forgot to mention, when you create your event, you need, if it's an hybrid or in-person event, you need to indicate the location. It's very important. It's part of the mandatory information that you need to fill in. If it's hybrid and you also have a webinar, that link can be registered, but it can be included later. This is not something that is mandatory, but the location, if it's an in-person event or hybrid event, is mandatory to finalize the creation of your event. Once the event is finalized, we will receive a notification through the organization committee, and again, here again, very swiftly, within 24 hours, we'll commit to publish the event. We have a lot, as you can imagine, we'll have a lot of events to coordinate. So bear with us if there's if we're a bit late sometimes, but we're really trying. We've put in place a team that is really reacting quickly. Now, fourth step is how do you manage your events? So this is, if you have organized an event, and this is an example that we've shown you, you'll see that there's a dashboard, a lot of information that you'll have and you'll need to manage. So coming back on who will manage this account, you really need to think about this, because usually when you create an account, and you've seen the example I gave you initially with the GBS disputes account, I was the main point of contact. This is only for the exercise. For the purpose of organizing the event, we think it's better to have someone from communication or someone that may be less senior, because you'll need to manage all your events. If it's events which are restricted by invitation only, you'll need to accept all the invitation. So all of that will take some time. So we really strongly encourage the person who's the contact person within your own partner's account to choose someone who will actually manage the events. Now, what do you have? How do you manage your events? As you can see from the dashboard, and if you can go move up just 1 second, you'll see that you have requests which are pending. That's typically a situation for an event by invitation, where you'll need to accept the registration. So here you see that you'll have to accept the different person. And how do you see the list of participants? And you can see it down. If you go down, you have different names here. And there you can click on the right-hand side by accepting or declining. So why do we have this option, and why would people choose by invitation only? Often you have events which you don't have sufficient space for everyone. So usually, now of course with COVID, we got used to doing hybrid events and in-person events. But in reality, we also are careful, minded by the fact that we may not have a lot of capacity for some of the events. So that's one of the reasons to do an invitation event. And in that context, here you can manage, accept, refuse.
It's by request.
It's by request events. By request events. So sorry, it's not by invitation. It's by request events, which is one of the organization modalities that you can choose. And if you accept and when you decline, whatever choice you make, an automatic email will be sent to the participants explaining that either that their participation has been approved or that it has been declined. And if it's been declined, that is something that you may want them to follow up with the participant to explain why it's been declined. But we've made automatic emails just to facilitate your management of the events. And that you can see here is the type of event. Dear Benjamin, we're pleased to confirm your registration. And then they have all of these information, which will be included in an email. At the same time, the visitor will find also the same information in his visitor account, which will contain all these information. Now, amongst the modalities, as you can see here, of these events, you can also download the registration list. The registration list, so you'll have a list of all the participants to your event. This is something that you can export, the names, email address from the different participants who will be attending your event, which will be important for when you organize your event, when maybe for listing purposes, for making sure that you have the full list of who will attend your events. So you can download this through Excel file or through different forms, as you can see from here. Now, also sometimes you may want to invite some participants to your events. And that is something also that you can do through the website. Here you see this invite participants. And here, even if the participant does not have a visitor account, he will receive this invitation. So this is something that we thought was useful. And for instance, if you have people you have in mind or people that told you that they would attend the event, but they haven't registered yet, you can, through the website, through your partner's account, invite different participants to your event. Now, maybe what we wanted to show you is in practice, how does it work when a visitor decides to register?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
When you click on invite on the previous slides, when you click on add a new attendee, is it the person will receive the invite, or it's just for us? Okay, it's not that he has accepted.
No, it will receive an invite. It's
okay.
As if this person will be invited.
Okay, but we may not have all the mandatory field. First name we'll have it. Last name, okay. Maybe position, job we don't have, or phone is a mandatory.
So this is a question that maybe we can see if we could, I know it doesn't matter because you can put whatever title you want, lawyer. Or
Yeah.
Okay, but
is
the
it
phone
something-
is a
something else.
mandatory field, so this can be a little bit complicated.
Okay. Just to make it simple, because we had identified this risk, you can actually, if, for instance, you don't have the phone number of this person, but you need his email or her email, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Otherwise,
course.
they will never get invited. But if you
Yeah.
if you don't have their phone number, you can just type 0000 and
Okay.
it will be sufficient.
Okay.
In this type of invite, we decided to limit, even though it's mandatory, you can type basically anything you want and it will work out.
Okay, thank you so much.
I have a follow-up question, please. So to invite the participants, do I understand right that the list would include those who have already registered and created visitor accounts on the website?
You
No?
don't need to. No. Even, of course, if someone is already registered, of course, they will receive this through their visitors account. But even someone that has not been registered yet will receive it by email.
But it will need to register to create this. It will not
He will
necessarily.
receive two emails. The first one with the invitation and the other one saying that a visitor account has been created by a partner and you just have to click on the link to activate.
Okay,
Is,
so basically, if he wants, if it's someone that will use his POW account, he can activate it just by one click. If it's someone, for instance, a very old professor of law that you want to invite that you know will never set up his own account, he will still have the invitation. So he can go to the event with this first email he will receive. But if he wants to play with the website, he can activate his account and then start registering at different events.
Okay, so just to confirm, when I click invite, this can go to the whole world and not just to those who registered on the website, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and is it possible to see just a model of the email that will go out to that person?
It looks like this.
Like a template, like this, okay. So this is an invitation or this is an acceptance email?
It's an invitation email. The text is slightly different, but
Confirmation here. You confirm your registration. This is
test it. Attends, je regarde si je suis pas sur la pointe quand même.
we're gonna test it live for you, Maria.
Oh, please, I would appreciate it before starting to click and send emails to the whole world.
But we won't accept any amendment to the email, unfortunately.
No, I understand.
We have spent too much time on the templates already.
Non, je peux pas le faire.
Et la compétition.
Non, je vais pas pouvoir le faire. Là. Enfin, je
So
peux pas le faire.
what we can do after the conference is that we'll send you the email so that you can see,
Please.
so we can
Yeah,
send it throughout the people
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
exactly the type of email that goes out.
But it's very basic
Okay.
and it really goes to the person you've typed in, Maria, and they will receive, you have received an invitation for this event and attached is the invitation. And then there's the second email where they can activate their POW account.
It would be
Okay,
very helpful to receive the template of invite
Yeah.
and confirmation and deny.
exactly. I
Yeah.
was very curious about the
Yeah.
denial. What's the
Me too,
wording of
yeah.
the denial?
Okay. So denial is in the event that someone registers but you refuse. So it's for in-person events only, for which basically you don't have any space left. That's
But
the assumption
I think
we've
we've
taken
got
into
the
account.
possibility to refuse the in-person request, but say, okay, you can register for the webinar online. So it would be
Exactly.
nice to receive this template of no for in-person, but okay for a hybrid event.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
The easiest-
Without any ambition to encroach on the templates, I would just suggest that it would be helpful to have a template for decline for Zoom and online participation as well. Just, if by looking at the profile, the person shouldn't be participating even online.
Sure.
Yeah.
I understand.
No, and we've prepared emails and again, templates, and we'll forward all the templates that we've prepared. The only point is that in case you decline someone, registration, you may want, for any reason, we made a very standard email to respond. But as you see from the website, you'll have the email address of the person, and in that case, we encourage you to directly reach out to the person also, and by a simple email. It was very difficult for us to choose what is the reason why someone would decline. So we made a very neutral template, but we really encourage everyone then to send an email to the person and explain it with their own words.
And also just a follow-up question. So if it's a physical event, I see that in the acceptance, the map would automatically go out, or I would imagine. But for the Zoom events, is there anything automatic about providing a Zoom link, or would we need to individually distribute those to the participants?
Now, that's a good point, is that once you create your event, at the beginning, you can put your webinar link. If you don't have it, well, you register your event, and then let's say that in 1 week's time, you add on your events page the webinars link. Then everyone that is registered will receive an email saying that there's been a change to the event, and here's the link. So you'll receive automatic, and imagine you decide to change the timing or the date. All of that information is something that they'll receive, everyone that is registered will receive automatic emails mentioning the change. And there again, we've prepared templates to say, there's been a change to your event and here are the changes.
And this is why we would invite you to not make updates every day to avoid spamming your participants, but rather try to concentrate. I mean, in case you have a change of venue or date or sticker, we recommend you doing this at the same time to avoid multiple.
If we have an amount of geographic zone, Asia, Europe, or, arbitration dispute, domestic dispute, or something like that with keywords, it's okay?
I mean, there won't be any automatic email for this. It's only for the key features, date, location, timing, or maybe title, but not up to the details of what we see in the calendar.
Yeah.
We have Simona who wanted to ask a question.
Hi, hello everybody. Thank you for inviting. So I wanted to see again how to invite people, if possible, very quickly.
How to invite people.
Sure.
So you see add new attendee here on the page.
Okay.
So maybe you can go back, Xavier, we're on the dashboard here. So this is when you have created your event.
Okay.
And you go on the tab event, you can edit your event, you can search your event, download registration list, and then you have add a new attendee.
Okay.
So this is not called invitation, but add a new attendee corresponds to the invitation you will send to your to individual people that have not registered by themselves.
Okay.
And if I may ask one more follow-up question about the difference between by request events and by invitation only events.
Right. I had the same.
Yes, so by request, I understand that people just click on the website, then we see the lineup and we can either accept or deny. So that's understood. And if it's by invitation only, does the invitation go out outside of the website, or do we need to go through the invitation feature that you just showed? Xavier, you wanted to answer perhaps.
Yeah, by invitation only is dedicated to events that visitors cannot register on the website. It's only few events. It's mainly the closing cocktail and the girl. Yeah. The registration on the website is only for 3 events, so it's excluding the by invitation, such as the closing cocktail and the paying events, which are managed on other outside platform. Yeah.
So you'll have the Go Live, you have the ICC event, you have the cruise. These are the type of events which will be external, and so that goes through external databases.
Okay. But it's possible to change the modality from, let's say, from by invitation only to by request at any time. Yes.
So yeah, if you decide to go through the platform, you need to switch it. I imagine that's not a problem.
But the
Thank you.
by invitation is really reserved to
Maria,
specific
in
event.
reality, by invitation will really be, I mean, unless you intended to create a paying event, as soon as it is free, it will be automatically a by request or an automatic registration. But
Okay,
and
understood.
if you need to change because you've made a mistake, for instance, in while creating the event, we can do that. I mean, we will help you do that. I'm not sure you can do that by yourself. Xavier, I'm looking at you whether
It's better not. It's better not.
You can send us an email and we'll fix this.
Okay, thank you.
But as you know, most of the events are free for the POW, except some
Yeah.
limited number of events. Most of the academic events are free. And I think that is also something that is expected for most of the visitors.
No,
We have
of
another
course.
question from Caroline. I don't know, Ben, did you have other things to present or we are already in
I
the?
wanted to show exactly what happens when someone creates an event,
Okay.
wants to participate to an event, clicks an event, exactly the process. So it's
Okay.
only to show you how.
Caroline, you want to ask a question now? Is it related to what we
Yeah.
just said or is it a more general question?
Yeah, it's just a very quick question. Do you send any reminder? I mean, for example, the day before the event with the joining instruction or something?
You have access to that, as you can see from the platform from your event section. As you will see, and just let's go back there, you can send a reminder, as you can see on the right-hand side.
Okay. So
On
it's
the
not
name, you can
automatic.
send-
We have to do it ourselves.
Can we
It's
make it
not-
automatic?
It's an option you can organize. Yeah,
This is an option that.
it's not
It's not set up yet.
set up yet, but it can be.
This is something we can work on because I think it was one of the ideas we had, but we didn't want necessarily to impose to everyone an automatic email. So as of now, it has to be done manually. But can it be done to everyone or it has to be done individually?
It's individually, yeah, but we can imagine that we can have
Send.
a global reminder for all the days. Okay.
That would be great.
Because usually for events, you will want to send a reminder 1 week before. The problem with the POW is that you'll have a lot of events, so you may want to have a reminder the day before or 2 days before.
Actually, someone in the chat is suggesting 1 day before and 2 hours before also.
Okay.
But so.
Yeah, but it's a lot.
Given the fact that someone may be registered to several events during
Yeah.
the week, you may be receiving a lot of emails. So maybe the question is whether or not we can set up a system that people can adapt. I would not suggest sending too many emails for the same events, but twice is not that much. But how can you? Because just the question is whether or not.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Users will add the event upon registration on their own Outlook agenda because this function is available. So they will be receiving the Outlook reminders as well. So.
And also remember that everyone who participates in POW needs to have a visitor's account. And then in his or her visitor's account, you will have the full list of the events to which you're registered. And if there's been any changes to these events, and you'll have the QR code to register. So that's why at the beginning of the presentation, we really insisted for everyone to register, to have their own visitor account, because they'll be able to manage that throughout the week. And that is something very useful. But we'll work on setting up an automatic reminder, and we'll send you an email to all the partners just to explain what can be done in this respect.
And what
Just
about
one-
if, sorry, what about if you accepted someone and then for, I don't know what reason, you don't want him anymore on in-person event and then say, okay, just go on the hybrid event. Is it possible for us to make that change or not?
So imagine that you've accepted too many people and suddenly some other people want to register and you'd like to change them to an hybrid. Is that something that the partners can do, or is this something that we can do, you can do through the backup office? We haven't prepared a template to say, people,
that's
sorry,
the
we
point.
changed it.
But for example, if
You know, many
No, I
people
won't
want
go on
to
that
go
one.
on in-person event, and we know that there will be a wonderful no show on the day on the real day, and sometimes you have to change your mind about some people, and so how can we do that?
No. And it's true that you're right, that there is an average of 20-25% no show. And
Yeah.
this is something that we've always tried to manage throughout the years, and it may be more complicated sometime. Maybe this is something we'll get back to, because this is when you've accepted someone, then switching to an in-person to an hybrid, whether or not we've had this question at the beginning, because that's why we had the option of declining, but switching someone to online when the person had requested in person. But we haven't thought, and I don't think we have an option for the time being, of switching if you already accepted.
Can't we decline someone that has already
Yes.
accepted?
Because I see when you
I cannot
accepted,
show
there's no option.
it to you, but I think that when you have accept it's a real account, so I can't play with it. If you accept, so the status will be accepted, then you can click on the pen icon and change, because it will move the status from accepted to pending again. So you will have the two options.
But the only option is accept or decline. So it means that in such case, if we go until the end of the process, they should receive a decline email, and then we'll have to go back to the page. And it means that in the meantime, you would have closed the in-person event, and they would only have access to the online registration. But that's very theoretical, and that's not necessarily very easy to explain to the participant. And I don't know whether they would receive an email. For sure, there will be no explanation in such case. They would simply receive an email saying that they have been declined.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it is for them to either contact you or go back to the website, to the POW website, to try to register online.
The recommendation because you can, as you can see here, you can manage the number of tickets you put online. So maybe the good option is to, when you will publish the event, is not to put all the tickets from the beginning, and maybe 1 month after, 1 month before the event, you can add some tickets, so you will have flex for having the people you want.
Our experience right now is that people register very quickly and massively on all the events online. But also bear in mind that one person cannot, for instance, book more than 2 events at the same date at the same time. We've made sure that people cannot register at 5 events same day, same time, to avoid having all events fully booked within 48 hours.
That's only for the academic events, by the way, because there's, we will distinguish that with the social events. As you can remember last year, the Tuesday, there were, I think, 5 or 6 cocktails. Some people did all of the cocktails, including the board. And in that case, you could register to all the events.
Just the last look on the Micro Calendar page.
Yes, before we get there, just one short mention of the function help that you see on the screen on the left-hand side. We have tried to anticipate as many questions as we could, especially on the section of events. So if you go to event, you will see that there's several questions and answers similar to the questions that you've been asking today. So yes, if we can click on events there. You see there are several questions, and hopefully you will find answers to some questions there, but please have a look, because there's useful guidance in there about creating and managing your events.
Maria, I think you had a question, and then we will just finish with one special feature that we'd like to present, because we're already out of time.
Yes.
But let's wrap it up in 5 minutes. Maria, last question.
So the last question, I'm not suggesting that it's necessary or useful, but just asking. So once you create your event, I see there's a title, speakers. Is there a possibility to add a JPEG image with some graphics? Just a question. If it's not a problem, but just checking.
So I think we cannot, as of now. We discussed this point because you sent us the email this morning, and we discussed this with Xavier already. This is something we will look at, but for the moment we can only add text, no image. But we'll discuss this with Xavier right after our presentation to see whether this is something that can be implemented by
But
POW.
it's already revolutionary, democratic, transparent, and highly effective. So my applause to you all, and thank you for the time that you have devoted to the process. And it's already an amazing platform with no precedents worldwide, as far as I'm aware. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, and what is very important again is that for all the partners to convey this amongst their team, visitors, to make sure that people connect, register their visitors accounts. This is the only way to make this really smooth process. And again, if you have any questions, we've seen most of the people registering for the time being have not had any problems. Of course, we're there. If you need, this Xavier and his team also are part of the team and trying to assist. So don't hesitate to reach out. The more we solve the problems now, the easiest and more efficient it will be once we get to the day of the week of the Paris Arbitration Week.
Yeah, and what we anticipate on this, and especially for those of you who are BD managers or communication or office managers, is that your lawyers will write to us saying, I want to attend the opening cocktail. Yes, of course, but we won't be able to help them with that. They will need to go on the website, create their visitor account, and register for the opening cocktail. So that's why you really need, for your own sake and for our sake, but for their sake at least eventually, you need to really tell them that the first thing they should do tomorrow is create their visitors account and be ready to register to the events, to avoid missing the good events that will be full, and to be able to register for the opening, which will be of course the very big and most important event of the week.
Now, an additional remark, which I already mentioned at the beginning, when you register as a partner, really at the beginning, you may have a number of emails going to your junk email, and that is something you need to check. And you'll need to tell your participant who may not have found the email to check their junk. Normally, once you're used to dealing with your junk box, and then you can say that some of the emails received by Paris Arbitration Week are not a junk. Then you should receive more and more everything in your inbox. We've noticed it, not everyone, not entirely anyone on the same way, because every law firm or institution have different firewall. So of course you have some differences, but at the beginning, once you start using this, please check your junk mail and tell people to check those, so that at least we make sure that these emails don't get lost. Now, what we wanted to show you is that exactly the process when someone, a visitor, registers to one of your events, and then how do you see this coming up in your own partner's account and how you manage your event. So that's typically
Okay, so I'm going to the calendar.
Okay.
Choosing an event. Register.
So that's a visitor register. So you see registers.
Register.
Success. Okay, so there you have an image confirming that you've been registered.
Apps, and I will find it in my book calendar.
So that as a visitor, that's my account as a visitor. I can see here that I've just registered to this event. Here I can do many things. I can cancel my registration if I decide to attend another event. I can also add the event to my Outlook calendar. You can also show the QR code, which you will need once you get to the event. And that's something the partners will need to deal with also, that people will come with their QR codes. So they need to coordinate internally to make sure that someone will be able to flash these codes. And then, of course, you can have the paper copy of your invitation confirming your registration. Everything is available on the dashboard of the visitor account in my POW calendar. But that's something we wanted to show you. And again, you can change it. You can have all the details of your event and manage it yourself as a visitor. But this is why it's important. One, to have your visitors account, and two, for all the partners to organize their event through the platform, through this platform, so that every visitors will have everything at the same place. In their POW calendar, they'll have all the events they've registered to. Of course, not the opening cocktail or other events which are by invitation. But for the rest, everything will be located at the same place.
Two last comments, maybe not last comments, by the way. Alexandre, you asked a question about changing the information for the main contact. You already responded. Okay.
already
Perfect.
responded to Jerry's.
Send us an email if you're blocked. Isabelle, and it really applies to all partners who have registered in the first place. Many of you have registered as partners before the website was launched, and as Merle told you before, you are not automatically registered on the new website. And we need you to do that, and we urge you to do that as soon as possible, not to lose the benefits of being in advance and now being late as compared to everyone. So if you want your logo, your presentation, your events to be online, you need to register as soon as possible. And I was telling you about the 43 registered partners. We only have 11 of those 43 partners who have registered their page on the website. So maybe there was a lack of information about that, but again, I think it's clear for everyone now. For those of you who are already registered partners, you need to create your own page. You cannot rely on what has been done in the past.
If I can add an additional new feature that we have not mentioned to you, and I say new because it has not been launched yet, it will be launched and become available in the coming days. For every visitor that will register, create a profile, register to attend events, and in the process of doing so, will have selected their preferences: international, commercial arbitration, investment arbitration, Africa or Asia, the different options that are available. The website will automatically, once per week, generate an email with the updates of the new events that appear on the calendar every week. So all the visitors, again, will receive a weekly update. This will be great for partners. It will advertise your events on a weekly basis to the new visitors, but also it will prompt the visitors to go and register for more events online, because they will be automatically informed of what's new. So this has not been launched yet, as I said, but it will be done so soon. It will be.
So please create your events soon.
Yes, create your events soon so that they can be published, communicated, and promoted in all this through the platform, the website, and through this newsletter.
Do you have any further questions? So I think just have to thank you all for your time and attention. We're very happy to see you again, and we really look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully, à Paris, dans juste maintenant un mois et demi. Donc, see you in Paris in a month and a half, and thank you again for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.